This video is about how do you find a leak when you've tried everything to see where the leak could be. So this happened where I heard a sound in the walls, but I couldn't tell where the leak was coming from. I checked the faucet, I checked the toilet and under the sink. I went outside, didn't see any leak, and I went in the crawl space, didn't see any leak there. So it was like, where is this sound coming from? It was like a sound that's like vibrating the wall. It was like if you had TV on, you probably miss it. So so I eventually called the county water department, and the guy came and helped me track where the water was coming from. And he told me that he's seen this kind of situation more frequently than I expected. So he said that uh, you could use a probe, and he had a probe that looks like a rod about 30 feet long with a tip like a javelin. So what he was doing was where I told him where the pipe was that's coming into the house, and so he was uh, putting that probe into the ground and see if he could tell if the ground was soft or if the tip of the probe was wet. So if the tip was wet, that means that that's where the leak was coming from. So it took him like less than a minute to find out where the leak was. But in my case, I would have never found it out if I didn't talk to the guy or if the guy didn't come. Um, so so now I found the leak. So right here, I'm digging the pipe to find out exactly where it is broken. And so the first thing you want to do is make sure the water is shut off from the meter, because as you saw in the beginning of the video, the water was rushing pretty high. But in my case, I didn't see any pressure drop inside the house while the leak was happening. So that was kind of surprising. And I told the guy from the county, and he said that that was what also threw him off, because usually when there's a leak or broken pipe, the pressure should drop. So what I'm thinking is that maybe the pipe wasn't totally separated, so the water was still going into the house. But as you can see now, it's pretty obvious. It's separated, and since I moved the dirt, the pipe has a little bit more room to vibrate, and it's separated completely. So I'm cleaning up, removing the dirt. The pipe was about maybe foot deep, maybe maybe foot and a half at most underground. And when I removed the dirt, uh, I saw that there was a pipe that was already there from previous times. So the house is about 40 years old. So I dug up two pipes that were laying underneath there. So I presume that these this issue had happened before in the past, and it was just the next iteration. So it looks like they happen every 12, 13 years, it looks like. So anyway, that was kind of interesting. There was one copper pipe, and then another one was like a blue plastic PVC pipe that was there. It was previously, it was probably someone had fixed it. So now I know what the leak is. I'm just trying to wash the pipe down uh, to remove all the dirt off the pipe before I try to get the parts from a home improvement store and then do the actual fixing part. So it's a good idea because so I was surprised that I couldn't find the leak the previous day, and then we had this pipe broken and it was running all night, overnight. But still, there was no water I could see from the outside. We do have a shutoff valve in the crawl space, but it's like really like hard to reach place. So it hasn't been used, I don't know, for decades. So I went to the crawl space and tried to use it, but the knob would turn, but the water wouldn't shut off. So it's kind of useless. And it's like really hard place in the crawl space. So maybe that's why it never worked. I mean, it worked in the beginning, but now it's old, it doesn't work anymore. So, so I laid a garbage bag, so it'll be easy for me to remove the broken piece and also cut off the plastic pipe. So I used a grinder to cut off the pipe because you don't want that cricket when you're cutting it. So I put like a marker, like a permanent marker around it, so I knew where to cut it. But right now I'm just removing the plastic threaded pipe. The actual fixing of the problem was not that big deal if you have like moderate skills how to do minor plumbing. For me, the hard part was trying to find out where the leak was. It's kind of like mysterious. But what I'm thinking is that if I ignored this leak, let's say for a week, then I'm sure I would have found out that there would have been a huge puddle where the pipe broke, and yeah, yeah, it would be very obvious. You would not need to dig to find out. So it looks like I cut it early. So I'm using a grinder to cut it off. Very smooth cut. So this is a pipe saw. If you have it too like that, it is great. And then you want it to use like sanding paper to, make that pipe outside rough so that the rubber cement glue can attach to it more securely when you're doing the installation. So, and make sure you cut it the right size. So you make sure you compensate for the coupler where the part of the pipe will go inside the coupler. But you don't want to make the piece too small or too big. Otherwise, you're gonna have a hard time uh, coupling with the copper pipe with the plastic pipe. So, so make sure that it is just right. Otherwise, you're gonna have a problem. So you put in like a purple solvent first, and then you put the cement glue on. So that cement, the rubber cement, you have like very small time to to it sets in very quickly. So as you notice in the video, the pipe, the plastic pipe and the metal pipe, I only dug up to, a little bit of space, but then I realized later that you need to dig it further down the line so that you can have more flex to the pipe. Otherwise, you're gonna have real problems coupling it. So first thing you want to do is the threaded plastic coupler. You want to put that in first because you don't want to ruin the threads. That's what I did. So I did that first, and then you can use the coupler to couple the threaded plastic part with the plastic coupler. Uh, Otherwise, you may need to redo again. So this is a good tip for you. And also, I couldn't. In order to get some flex, I had to dig like maybe 4 or 5 feet back so that I'll have more flex in the pipe so I can join them together. I tried that, but that didn't work so well, and I didn't want to put too much stress on the pipe because I might break the pipe. So you had to be gentle, but also firm. So it's like you need to know how much you can, bend it. So I got a gas propane, and then I have a wand where you can heat up, like if you want to kill grass or something, or you wanted to, light up your, whatever, like barbecue grill or something. So I had that. So I softly, kind of slowly went back and forth on the pipe to make the pipe a little softer, but don't touch with a hot flame with the pipe because you're going to damage the pipe. So just do it enough so that it kind of softens it, so it has a little flex. So when I was able to do that, then it worked. And then also you have to be careful that rubber cement sets very quick. So you have to do it quick. Everything needs to be quick.